Welcome to Recreating Hacks. In this episode, we will be recreating the FBI hack from Mr. Robot. This is a clip for those of you who have not seen the episode before.
Step 1. Identify the target and its flaws. There are always flaws. I learned that early in life. My first hack, the local library, a vulnerable FTP server and its AS400. A far cry from the Android 0 days I'm using to own the FBI standard issue smartphone. The library was a test to see if I could even get into the system. I've since set greater goals. For instance, step 2, build malware and prepare an attack. At my fingertips, the 0 days wrapped in code like a Christmas present then becomes an exploit. The programmatic expression of my will. I live for this shit. Step 3. A reverse shell 2-stage exploit. The ideal package. Load the malware into a femtocell delivery system. My personal cell tower that'll intercept all mobile data. Similar to my first time when I found myself staring at late book fees, employee names, member addresses. Everything was revealed. The secret of the perfect hack. Make it infallible. Hidden within the kernel is a logic bomb, malicious code designed to execute under circumstances I've programmed. Should the FBI take an image of the femtocell, all memory will self-corrupt or explode. Step 4. Write the script. Why do it myself? Because that's how I learned and I know exactly what, when, and how it's going to run. I didn't do anything harmful my first time, just looked around, but I felt so powerful. 11 years old and in complete control of the Washington Township Public Library. Today is different. I hacked the world. Final step. Launch the attack. Once I do, I'll own the Android phone of every FBI agent in that building. I'll own Evil Corp's network, applications, everything. Domain admin. This, the thrill of pwning a system. This is the greatest rush. Got access. The feeling never gets old.
So, as you can see, Mr. Robot is hacking the smartphones of the FBI. Now, there are no smartphones in Greyhack. So, what I have decided to do is hack a police station server. I guess this will have to be the substitute for the FBI. And then I have prepared a couple of 0 days. So, Mr. Robot used 0 days to as he put it, wrap the 0 days in code and use that to hack the system. And we will use the same method. We will use the 0 days, wrap them in code, and in that way gain access, full access to the police station server. So let's get started. We'll start by doing a remote script. This exploit that I've decided to make is going to consist of 2 scripts, not just one. So we'll start by making the remote one. And we need to use the meta exploit like most hacks are using. Then we use the net session, which will need the IP of the target, since we already know which target this exploit is going to be used for. Then what we will do is we will be targeting the 3306 port, which is the SQL port on the system, and that's because the 0 day that we have is for SQL, so it would not work on another service. Now we have the net session, and we'll use dump libs, grab the lib, which is the SQL library. And we're overflowing it with the unsecure values or 0-day. The unsecure memory and unsecure values in the game are supposed to simulate 0 days, so they can only be used until somebody figures out the vulnerability and patches it. So just like Mr. Robot, we will be using 0 days and wrapping them in code like this. This will give us a shell, because that's what this 0-day gives. If you look in the hack shop, all of these exploits uses 0 days. So if you want a particular one, like a shell non-root user, for example, like this one, you can just download that from the hack shop. Then by going into the code, you can get the memory and the value from the hack shop if you don't want to search for them yourself, and just use these 0 days from this and put that into your code as well. I've already prepared 0 days, so I don't have to do that, but that's another method you could use if you don't want to use the scan lib. Okay, next up we would do shell let's do get shell cp. So we will need to upload the tools to the server, and the way we do that is by, I think I want to use home dir. And then we need meta exploit on the target, so we need to upload that. And we're going to upload that into the home guest folder. And then we need the shell as the target system where we want to put it. So we get our shell and where we get the file from and where we want to put it, and the target system. And we need to do this for all the tools needed on the system. So we also need the crypto, and we also need the script that we are going to make after this script. So let's call it payload. I think Mr. Robot had some similar name for it. And in order for us to be able to upload from the home dir, we need to put these things in the home dir. So in here, we need to put, see here, from the lib folder where we have the meta exploit and the crypto, we need to put that into our home folder like this, so that the script can find the files and upload. You could upload them from somewhere else, of course, but I think this is simple. So now we have uploaded the tools. I feel like I'm missing something here. Some step. Launch. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Let's see if it works or not. Yes. Payload. So we get the overflow, we get the shell, we upload the stuff, and we launch the exploit. It looks good. Let's save this as something like robot. You can name the hack or exploit whatever you want. That's the first one done. Next up, we're going to make the payload script. Like always, we do meta exploit. and this one is in home. Yes, this is where we put the made export when we uploaded it. We also need the crypto. And then we need load of the and the local exploit or 0-day is for the kernel module. So we'll be grabbing that library and loading that. And then we will be overflowing that as well with the other 0-day. So memory value, unsecure value. And this is going to give hell. Then we will I guess what we will do is we could do shell host computer file. If I'm going too fast and advanced in this video, that's because this is the 4th episode in this installment. So if you want the complete basics, you can look at the Greyhack guide for 0.7. I have a lot of more basic scripting tutorials in there, and then if you want to go more advanced, you can follow this series where I'm taking for granted that you know the basics. So if this is too advanced, you can look at some of my older scripting tutorials. Okay, shell host computer file, and this is where we grab the password file. We can't do that with the guest shell that we got from the other one because we don't have permissions for that, but the local 0-day gives the user account access, which enables us to read the password file. So we got the password file. Then we will grab the content. We'll split that by every new line. Maybe like this. And then we'll split it again with the colon, and we'll call this part, for example. And now we will use the crypto. And this will give us root. And then we'll use get shell to get the root shell, and we'll use the root password. Maybe we'll call it root shell. Why not? Root shell. And start terminal. But before we do that, we need to remove all the files we uploaded, so we don't want to leave any traces. Mr. Robot made it so that the file would self-destruct. In our case, we will remove it completely to avoid any kind of trace. So what we will do is I think what we will do is we will use the root shell. And host computer. And then we just grab the guest folder. Like this. Guest folder. And then we'll do guest.get files. This will grab all the files in the guest folder. And then we'll do for file in files and then we'll just delete all the files. That way we'll erase any trace. Since we are uploading everything into the guest folder, if we remove all the files in the guest folder, all the traces will be gone. I forgot something, but this is the general idea. Then we'll just save this as payload. Okay. Let's try it. So, robot. And it uploads the exploits to the server after getting shell access. Which is great. There are 3 files, so looks good. Processing. Now it's cracking the root password. So by just using one script, we have now wrapped the 0 days in the code so that the scripts are doing all the work. Okay, we did something wrong. Too many arguments on line 11. Whoops. Dot file is supposed to be there as well. See if we made any other mistakes. Let's try it all again from the beginning. Hopefully it will work this time. Maybe we missed something else. Get files, delete files, and start the terminal. I don't think so, but we'll see. Again, we are cracking the password from the server. There are of course ways of making this much more advanced, and we could have emulated the Mr. Robot hack even more. But I think that this is a decent level. There we go. So by creating these 2 exploits, we were able to first get a guest access, upload all the files, crack the password, upload all the files, run the payload, get user access, crack the password, and then escalate to root privileges. So now we have full access on the server, and if we look in the home guest folder, it's empty. All the files we uploaded are removed. So that's how you create a create a similar hack to what Mr. Robot did in Greyhack. by using 0 days, and in that way gaining full root access on a system. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I see you guys in the next